Welcome back to the channel. Throughout the years, the music world has bid farewell to some of its most legendary and cherished icons. But what really happened to these unforgettable rock stars? And where do they now rest? Join us as we uncover the stories behind their tragic deaths and reveal the final resting places of these musical legends. The death of Dolores O'Riordan, lead singer of the Irish band The Cranberries, on January 15, 2018, at just 46, shocked her family, friends, and fans. O'Riordan was found in the bathtub of her hotel room at London's Hilton on Park Lane, where she was staying during recording sessions. She had called her mother around 3 a.m. and was found dead 6 hours later. An inquest revealed that her death was a tragic accident, with high levels of alcohol in her blood. O'Riordan's body was returned to Ireland, where she lay in repose in an open coffin at St. Joseph's Church in Limerick. Thousands of fans lined up to pay their respects to the beloved singer. Her funeral took place on January 23rd at her hometown church in Ballybricken, County Limerick, where she once sang in the choir. Following a private service, O'Riordan was buried next to her father, Terence, in Caherelly Cemetery, as radio stations across Ireland played the Cranberries' hit When You're Gone in her memory. John Lennon, one of the most famous Scousers in history and an icon of 1960s London, moved to New York in 1971. After marrying artist Yoko Ono in 1969, Lennon sought a quieter life in the celebrity-filled city, hoping to escape the relentless attention he received as a former Beatle. Tragically, on December 8, 1980, Lennon was shot outside his home by Mark Chapman, who later stated that he killed Lennon for the fame it would bring him. 5 years after his death, on October 9, 1985, what would have been Lennon's 45th birthday, an area of Central Park was dedicated to his memory. Named Strawberry Fields after one of his favorite Beatles songs, the space became a peaceful tribute to Lennon. At its center is a mosaic gifted by Naples, Italy, featuring the word Imagine, referencing his famous song. Lennon's wife, Yoko Ono, was deeply involved in creating the memorial, and it is believed that she scattered Lennon's ashes in the area, making Strawberry Fields a lasting tribute to his legacy. Roy Orbison, the legendary singer, songwriter, and guitarist, passed away at the age of 52 on December 6, 1988, from a heart attack. His life was marked by immense personal tragedy. In 1966, his first wife, Claudette Frady, tragically died in a motorcycle accident. Just 2 years later, a fire at his home near Nashville claimed the lives of 2 of their sons, Roy Jr. and Anthony. Despite these heart-wrenching losses, Orbison found love again with Barbara Jacobs, a teenage pre-med student whom he married in 1969. In the 1980s, Barbara became his manager, helping him revive his career. Orbison was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987 and formed the supergroup The Traveling Wilburys with Tom Petty and Bob Dylan. Sadly, just a year later, Orbison passed away suddenly. He was buried at Westwood Memorial Park in Los Angeles, though his grave remains unmarked. His wife Barbara, who died in 2011, was buried beside him, providing a marker for visitors. What's better than starting the day with a delicious cup of tea and watching this fascinating video together? Elvis Presley struggled with the lack of privacy during his life, and even in death, people couldn't leave him in peace. When Presley passed away from a heart attack on August 16, 1977, at the age of 42, the nation was in mourning. The day after his death, Elvis's father, Vernon Presley, allowed around 30,000 fans to view Elvis lying in state at Graceland. The following day, a private funeral procession took him to Forest Hill Cemetery, led by a white hearse and followed by 17 white limousines. Although Vernon wanted Elvis buried at Graceland, it wasn't zoned for burials at the time. Instead, Elvis was laid to rest in a nearly 1,000-pound steel-lined coffin in a mausoleum next to his mother, Gladys. The tomb was sealed with concrete and covered by a marble slab. However, on August 29th, 3 men attempted to steal his body for ransom. After this, burial rules were waived, and Elvis and Gladys were moved to Graceland. When Vernon passed in 1979, he was buried beside them. David Bowie, known for his unique vision and boundary-pushing career, wasn't afraid of the end of life. According to his keyboardist Mike Garson, Bowie had decades of advance warning when a psychic in the 1970s told him he would die at 69 or 70. Garson explained that Bowie took the prediction seriously, using it to plan his future. True to the psychic's words, Bowie passed away on January 10, 2016, just 2 days after turning 69, following an 18-month battle with cancer. Bowie's awareness of his fate allowed him to make his final wishes known. He requested that his ashes be cremated and scattered in Bali, following the island's Buddhist rituals. His family respected these wishes, ensuring a private farewell in line with his beliefs. Despite this, rumors surfaced that some of his ashes had been scattered at the 2016 Burning Man festival. Bowie's son, Duncan Jones, swiftly debunked the claim, calling it untrue and kind of a gross rumor. Mary Wilson, one-third of the iconic Motown girl group The Supremes, passed away unexpectedly on February 8, 2021, at the age of 76. The cause of death was later revealed to be hypertensive atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, a condition where high blood pressure causes a buildup in the arteries, leading to heart failure. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, her family held a small private ceremony on March 16th, with plans for a larger memorial when it became safe. Wilson was laid to rest in Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California, a resting place for many legendary artists and musicians. For Wilson, being buried next to her son, Rafael Ferrer, who tragically died in a car crash at age 14 in 1994, was particularly meaningful. She is survived by her 3 other children, including a cousin whom she adopted, along with 10 grandchildren and 1 great-granddaughter, leaving behind a rich legacy of family and music. Chuck Berry's influence on rock music is undeniable, earning him a place as one of the first inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. Many regard his 1955 hit Maybelline as a key foundation of the genre. Berry's musical journey began early. He sang in his church choir at the age of 6 and took up the guitar as a teenager, performing in small talent shows. He didn't rise to fame until his 30s, releasing 8 top 40 hits between 1955 and 1960. Even as he aged, Berry remained active in music. At 88, he was still performing monthly at Blueberry Hill, a local bar in St. Louis. On his 90th birthday, Berry announced his final album, Chuck, which he dedicated to his wife of 68 years, Themeta. However, before the album's release, Berry passed away from natural causes on March 18, 2017. He was laid to rest in Bellerive Heritage Gardens in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. If you want to explore the journey with me, please leave number 1 and watch this video until the end. Interesting things are waiting for you in the video. Janis Joplin died of an accidental heroin overdose on October 4, 1970, just 3 weeks after the death of Jimi Hendrix and 9 months before Jim Morrison's passing. 2 days later, she was cremated at Los Angeles Westwood Village Mortuary, with only 10 people attending the small ceremony. Joplin's ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean, off the coast of Marin County, north of San Francisco, as she had requested. While fans cannot visit the exact spot where Joplin's ashes were scattered, they can still pay tribute at the place where she died. Joplin passed away at the Landmark Hotel, now known as the Highland Gardens Hotel, located on Franklin and North Sycamore Avenues in Hollywood. Today, room 105 at the hotel is marked with a plaque in her memory. Fans have also filled the closet with tributes, leaving behind messages and notes to honor the legendary singer. Kurt Cobain, the frontman of Nirvana and a grunge music icon, passed away on April 5, 1994, at his home in Seattle, Washington. After his death, his wife, Courtney Love, decided to have him cremated, honoring their shared interest in Buddhist practices. Love divided Cobain's ashes into several portions. She scattered some in the Wishkah River near his childhood home in Aberdeen, Washington, while keeping a portion for herself. Love also took part of Cobain's ashes to a Buddhist monastery in Ithaca, New York. There, monks mixed the ashes with clay to create tsatsas, small cone-shaped sculptures, about 3 inches tall and painted gold, meant to be kept in a shrine. Love brought the remaining ashes back home. In 2008, Courtney Love reported that the ashes had been stolen, allegedly by someone she knew. Although the loss was unfortunate, the ashes that were treated and handled according to Cobain's wishes remain a fitting tribute to his legacy. Jim Morrison, the iconic frontman of The Doors, was living in quiet rock star retirement when he passed away on July 3, 1971, in his Paris apartment. The official cause of death was heart failure, as he was found in his bathtub. However, there have been rumors that he may have fatally overdosed on heroin in a nightclub, and his body was then carried back to his apartment by drug dealers. Morrison's final resting place is at Paris Père Lachaise Cemetery, one of the most famous cemeteries in the world. His grave, a significant shrine for rock fans, is particularly notable considering other prestigious figures are buried there, including Oscar Wilde, Marcel Proust, Edith Piaf, and Frédéric Chopin. The bronze plaque at Morrison's grave is inscribed with an ancient Greek epitaph chosen by his father, Kata ton daimona eotou, often translated as true to his own spirit, though it could also mean true to his own demons, possibly alluding to the personal struggles that led him to Paris. The death of Cass Elliot, beloved singer of the Mamas and the Papas, on July 28, 1974, is often associated with a false and hurtful rumor. Contrary to popular belief, she did not choke on a ham sandwich. This misinformation was spread by her manager, Alan Carr, who feared people would assume she died from a drug overdose. Unfortunately, this rumor has fueled cruel jokes about her weight over the years. In reality, Elliot died from heart failure at the age of 32, which may have been linked to the crash diets she had undergone due to the pressure and ridicule she faced for her size. She passed away at a London apartment owned by musician Harry Nilsson, who was away at the time. Elliot's body was returned to California and buried at Mount Sinai Memorial Park in Los Angeles, with a simple plaque marking her grave. In a strange coincidence, 4 years later, The Who's drummer, Keith Moon, died from an overdose in the same apartment. Eddie Van Halen. The legendary guitarist who co-founded Van Halen with his brother Alex revolutionized rock music with his electric guitar mastery. His influence stretched far and wide, even contributing music to Back to the Future's iconic Alien tape scene. Although he declined a role in Bill and Ted's movies, his impact on guitarists, both real and fictional, was undeniable. Van Halen passed away at 65 on October 6, 2020, after suffering a stroke, following a lengthy battle with cancer. Van Halen had been diagnosed with throat cancer in 2000, but declared it gone in 2004. However, after his death, his son Wolfgang shared that Eddie had been diagnosed with advanced lung cancer in 2017. Thanks to treatment in Germany, Eddie survived for 3 more years. But a motorcycle accident in 2019 revealed a brain tumor. It is believed that Wolfgang honored his father's final wishes by scattering Eddie's ashes off the coast of Malibu, California, where he had called home. Ray Charles, the legendary genius of soul, once remarked, "It's not a question of how long I live, but it's a question of how well I live." He certainly lived well, reaching the age of 73 despite battling heroin addiction earlier in life. Throughout his career, Charles transcended genres, continuing to record and perform up until his final year. He passed away on June 10, 2004, from complications related to liver disease. Charles was laid to rest at Inglewood Park Cemetery in Los Angeles, a final resting place for many music legends like Ella Fitzgerald, Etta James, and Sugar Ray Robinson. His memorial service, held at Los Angeles' First African Methodist Episcopal Church, was a star-studded event fitting for a man of his stature. Stevie Wonder, Willie Nelson, and B.B. King performed at the service, while notable attendees included Reverend Jesse Jackson and Quincy Jones. Jones, a close friend, reflected on their bond, saying he'd give anything to have Charles back, but believed heaven was better with him in it. The Beach Boys suffered a profound loss when Dennis Wilson, the band's drummer and middle brother of Brian and Carl, tragically drowned at the age of 39 on December 28, 1983. Dennis, who was also cousin to Mike Love, was swimming with friends near Marina del Rey when he dove underwater and never resurfaced. Honoring his wishes, President Ronald Reagan granted special permission for Dennis to be buried at sea, a privilege typically reserved for Navy or Coast Guard veterans. In 1997, Dennis's younger brother Carl was diagnosed with cancer, but continued performing with the band while undergoing treatment. That December, their mother, Audrey Wilson, passed away at the age of 80 and was laid to rest at Westwood Memorial Park in Los Angeles. Her grave proudly identifies her as the original Surfer Girl. Just 2 months later, on February 6, 1998, Carl Wilson also passed away from cancer and was buried alongside their mother at Westwood Memorial Park. Prince's death at the age of 57 on April 21, 2016, shocked the world. The iconic singer passed away from an accidental fentanyl overdose, a tragic irony given his strong stance against drugs and alcohol. Prince had famously banned alcohol and cigarettes from his renowned Minnesota estate, Paisley Park. 2 days after his death, he was cremated in a private ceremony, as fans gathered outside Paisley Park to pay their respects. Initially, the location of Prince's remains was kept private. However, in October 2016, it was revealed that Paisley Park would reopen as a museum, with Prince's ashes becoming a central feature. As of 2021, his ashes rest in a custom-designed urn that sits in the foyer of Paisley Park. The urn, created in collaboration with his sister Tyka Nelson and nephew President Nelson, is a miniature version of Paisley Park itself. It includes a purple piano, working lights, and Prince's iconic gem-studded symbol, embodying the uniquely creative spirit of the music legend. Jimi Hendrix, widely regarded as one of the greatest guitarists of all time, passed away at the age of 27 on September 18, 1970. He was found at London's Samarkand Hotel in a room belonging to his romantic partner, Monica Dannemann. The details surrounding his death remain unclear, as conflicting accounts suggest he may have taken sleeping pills with red wine, which caused him to vomit and tragically choke in his sleep. The coroner ultimately returned an open verdict. Hendrix was originally buried in 1970 at Greenwood Memorial Park Cemetery in Renton, Washington. His grave was marked by a simple stone inscribed with "Forever in Our Hearts." However, in 1999, his family announced plans to build a large memorial in his honor, funded partly by his fans. Despite protests from friends, Hendrix's body was exhumed and moved to the new memorial, completed in 2002, where he now rests alongside his father, stepmother, and grandmother. Johnny and Joey Ramone's infamous dislike for each other extended even beyond death, as the two are buried on opposite sides of the country. The tension between them reached its peak when Joey's girlfriend, Linda Danielle, left him for Johnny, and the two later married. Their feud was so intense that when Joey was dying of lymphoma, Johnny refused to visit, with Tommy Ramone being the only former bandmate to do so. Joey passed away on April 15, 2001, and was buried in Hillside Cemetery in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Johnny did not attend the funeral. A year later, on June 5, 2002, Dee Dee Ramone died of a heroin overdose at age 50, soon after the band's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was buried in Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. Johnny followed in 2004, passing from prostate cancer at 55. Although cremated, his wife Linda kept his ashes, and a 4-foot statue of Johnny stands in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Joey isn't entirely alone on the East Coast, as Tommy Ramone, the last surviving original member, died of bile duct cancer on July 11, 2014, and was buried in New Montefiore Cemetery in New York. One of music's greatest love stories began in 1956, when Johnny Cash, an up-and-coming country star, met June Carter backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. Although both were married at the time, Cash famously told Carter that night he would marry her. Over the following years, their relationship grew, and Carter even wrote Ring of Fire about her feelings for Cash. In 1966, Cash's first wife, Vivian Liberto, filed for divorce, citing infidelity and his struggles with addiction. Cash and Carter became a couple, but it wasn't until February 22, 1968, when Cash proposed to her live on stage in front of 7,000 people, that she agreed to marry him. They wed just over a week later. The couple enjoyed 35 years of marriage before June Carter's passing on May 15, 2003, at age 73. Just a few months later, Johnny Cash died on September 12, 2003. They are buried together in Hendersonville Memory Gardens, Tennessee. After living an extraordinary and unconventional life, Frank Zappa passed away from prostate cancer on December 4, 1993, at the age of 52. His family announced his death with a poignant statement. Composer Frank Zappa left for his final tour just before 6 p.m. Saturday. Despite his rebellious nature, Zappa was laid to rest in Los Angeles' Westwood Memorial Park, a resting place for numerous movie, music, and arts legends. Westwood Memorial Park is known for its celebrity graves, and by 2020, burial plots there cost as much as $745,000. However, Zappa's grave, like that of fellow musician Roy Orbison, remains unmarked. The choice of an unmarked grave adds a unique touch to Zappa's legacy. as his family has never publicly explained the decision. In true Zappa style, his final resting place reflects his lifelong preference for non-conformity, leaving fans to pay tribute to his genius in their own ways. George Harrison, the beloved Beatle, fought a long battle with cancer before passing away on November 29, 2001, at the age of 58. He was first diagnosed with throat cancer in 1997 and later with lung cancer in 1999. That same year, Harrison also survived a violent attack by a home intruder who stabbed him multiple times. Despite undergoing surgery and radiation treatments, Harrison ultimately succumbed to the disease. A follower of the Hare Krishna movement, Harrison's cremation took place shortly after his death, in accordance with Hindu beliefs, at Hollywood Forever Memorial Park. It was initially reported that his wife, Olivia, and son, Donnie, planned to scatter his ashes in the sacred Ganges River in Varanasi, India. Although the Hare Krishna Society later retracted the statement to ensure privacy, it is believed that Harrison's ashes were eventually scattered in the Ganges, honoring his spiritual beliefs in a private family ceremony. Freddie Mercury, the legendary frontman of Queen, embraced the spotlight in life but sought privacy in death. Diagnosed with AIDS in 1987, Mercury knew his time was limited and made plans for his ashes. He wanted to be cremated and entrusted his ex-fiancée and close friend, Mary Austin, with the location of where to scatter them, keeping it a secret from everyone, including his parents. He told Mary, "I don't want anyone to dig me up. I just want to rest in peace." After Mercury's death on November 24, 1991, at the age of 45, he was cremated at Kensal Green Cemetery in London. Austin waited 2 years before scattering the ashes, worried that someone might discover and reveal the location to the public. In 2013, a plaque with Mercury's birth name, Farrokh Bulsara, was found in the cemetery, leading to speculation that it marked his resting place. Although the inscription seemed to point to Mary, she has denied scattering his ashes there.
Thank you for watching my video. There are many other interesting things in the next videos. Please look forward to it. Thank you and goodbye.